interactive podcast. We just covered the squat, and we're going to go over the next movement that helps you assess your clients quite well, and it's the pull-up.
Yeah.
Pronated or supinated?
Pronated. Well, I mean, pronated is in pronated position, so that's hands forward. Right? For those who don't know, pronated, supinated. Pronated is the easiest way to pick up on issues that someone would have. So the simplest way to use a pull-up, and this will apply for pull-ups, toes to bar, toes to rings, anything where you're hanging from the bar. This is a useful movement assessment. Okay. Now we're not really going to look at the legs at all, so it'll probably be a little bit shorter than the last one, hopefully.
All right.
So the first thing you want to do, basically get your person just to hang from the bar and tell them that you want them to be able to pull their shoulder blades towards their back pockets. Okay, that's the simplest way to explain it. So again, we want to set them up for success here. If you just say hang from the bar, so just slouch, most people will do this. Great, he's hanging from the bar, right? But it doesn't show any dynamic activation of muscles. So you want to say the simplest way, take your shoulder blades, yank them down towards your back pockets. So what we want to look for here when he does this is, can he physically do this, right? So show me a bad position. So this, with the way Sill's relaxing here, his lower traps, which are down here, okay, they're not activated at all. His shoulder blades are pulled up into the outside, and this puts you into a very bad position when you start to pull. And to assess this position, the person doesn't even need to be able to do a full pull-up. They just need to be able to start to pull, okay?
Makes you stronger without the chalk, man.
Shouldn't it make you stronger overall if you don't have chalk?
I eat this for breakfast.
No, but so if you're not using chalk, you're working grip strength. Can you put lines right there? Yeah, nice. Okay, so hang from the bar again. So someone jumps up, you say pull your shoulder blades down towards your back pockets. They don't do it at all, okay? Let your arms relax. Now I want you to start pulling with your biceps. So see this here and come back down for your root and shoulder. So common fault with pull-ups is people pulling from their biceps here and from their delts with their shoulders in a bad position. Show me just once more from a bad position. So shoulders in a bad position, and he starts initiating here, okay? So most people, like if the person's strong, can come down, will actually pull themselves up. But as soon as your shoulder is up into this position, you put your shoulder into a bad position, and the likelihood of wrecking your rotator cuff is pretty high. Okay. The other thing too, it's very inefficient if you're going to do more than say 2 pull-ups. You're going to gas out. Okay. So
now, what if you kick in that position?
Holy hell! Go home. So if someone's doing that, like not only can they not stabilize their shoulder blades, but they're doing high rep stuff like that, I mean, it is a recipe for disaster. And this is the person who then wrecks their rotator cuff, goes to their doctor, and the doctor says CrossFit's evil, okay? Because it's ruined your shoulder. CrossFit didn't ruin your shoulder, you ruined your own shoulder, but you know, coach either didn't pick up on it or you didn't listen when they told you how to fix it, okay? So if someone's doing high rep stuff in that position, they need to stop.
First thing you should always do is talk about how to hold the bar. Right?
With their hands?
With your hands, but also how to hang, right? That's the first step.
Sure.
So when we started the squat, you want to set up for success. Set up for success by holding the bar and...
How do you hold the bar?
I like
you hold it.
I like to hold the bar. And you put the camera
facing
close.
Just do it facing. Grab the bar here.
I like to hold it in this position. Only because it's on my palm, and I find that if I slip away here, I have a hard time engaging my back.
Sure,
correctly.
but with your hand rotated like that, you actually activate all your flexors into your bicep and into your lats a bit more, as opposed to if you let it go.
Yeah.
Okay? Now,
does that contribute to me being in a better position? Okay.
It makes it easier to be in a good position. It makes it easier to activate those muscles. So, first things first, if someone can't even hang from the bar in that good position, what you want to be able to do is strengthen their upper back muscles. Or sorry, not strengthen upper back, but strengthen their lower trapezius muscles. And you don't even need a bar to do this. The person is physically strong enough, so your traps or your trapezius, it's a big triangle, hence the word, okay? You'd actually go from here all the way down to here, okay? And then out to your shoulder and then up here. Most CrossFitters have really big upper traps up here. Makes them look, makes them look super impressive. However, if all you have is muscle here and you have no strength down here, okay, your shoulder's always going to be in a crappy position and you'll never be able to pull your shoulder blade down and back. So if you can't physically pull your shoulder blade down, you're done for. One thing that is very useful for training this is lat pull downs. Okay, because again, you're not having to lift your whole body weight. Okay, the other thing you can do is use a band. We need this. Loop that around there, give it a shot. Look at that.
MacGyver.
No, but now you can pull with both arms, right?
Yeah.
So with this, right, the one thing you can do, you can just have them go down, right? You basically do lat pull downs, right? Can you pull your shoulder blades down and back? Up from here, down and back. If you're straight underneath it, it'll work just fine so far. But again, you want to get them doing that pulling down and back, okay?
Okay, what about like face pulls or pull aparts?
What's a face pull?
Kind of like a lat pull down where you're pulling it to like your face.
Knees?
No, you're here, you're standing up, and then you're...
So again, this exercise is great as well, providing they're engaging here. The
Yeah.
reason I like it where you're pulling from overhead down is it, again, mimics the movement that you're trying to do.
Okay.
Right? If you're pulling down, that's the same position you're going to be in when you're doing
So you're
a pull-up.
choosing to engage. Don't
Yes, as opposed to this one, good for kipping,
Yeah.
because once you get that swing, you can pull to it. But either one. The other thing you can do is, come on, jump up on a bar. The other thing you can do is let yourself relax. Okay? Now all I want you to do is pull your shoulder blades down towards your back pockets as hard as you can. So see how he pulls everything up? Don't bend this. Good? So he tightens this part of his back and then relax. If a person is having an issue feeling this, just poke at them. Right here is where I want you to squeeze. Pinch my finger with your shoulder blades. And as soon as you do that, they try to pull the shoulder blades to pinch your finger here and relax. If you cue them up here, pinch here, that's just, again, crappy positioning. You have to have them pinching down towards below your shoulder blades, okay? Now, if you want to create independence in your shoulders, right, you can do this side to side. You ever done those? So I want you to relax. I want you to just pull this shoulder blade down. So see how it'll go to the left and then relax, then pull just the right shoulder blade. And now it goes down to the right. So this is just more of an advanced
It's like a Russian gymnast.
I call them monkey swings. So you just swing side to side. That's a way to get your lower traps to engage. So this is setting someone up so that they can actually do the pull-up properly. Okay? So that's just hanging. Okay? If you have someone, again, someone, yeah, okay. Yeah, if you have someone who can do that, but you're suspecting their shoulders are really tight and their thoracic spine's really stiff, they'll tend to hang in kind of a funny position. So I want you to hang hyperextended. So come from the side. No, you. Okay. So if Sill's a desk worker, right, this will be really stiff and he'll be really tight through the front of his chest, right? And so he'll hyperextend through his back here, okay? The reason for, yeah, so again, he's over-exaggerating. If someone can't physically get their arm overhead, their arms will be here and they'll hyperextend the lower back. So wing this forward, yeah. So what this is a flexibility issue with the front of their shoulders. So as far as dealing with a flexibility issue with the front of your shoulders, there's a bunch of different things you can do. Banded stretch where you have it. Let's set it up here. Hand up and through, right? Draw traction on your shoulder, and then push your chest down. Okay? Again, keeping your chest or your core tight, because you don't want to be rounded. If you're rounded, you're not actually stretching it. You want to be able to push that short arm up and back. Okay? Again, great stretch to stretch out the front of your shoulder to get you into that overhead position. And that's a simple telltale. As soon as they're just hanging from the bar, you should be able to pick up on that. Next one would be core, right? If they're hanging in that position, or if when they start pulling, they instantly hyperextend their back. So show me another pull up.
An ugly pull up?
Yeah, show me an ugly pull up. So what Sill's doing here, I don't know if you can see from that angle, but he's hyperextending his back. Go again. Go for it, Sill. So see how he instantly arches his back, right? So that's because his lower abdominal muscles aren't working at all. So like with doing the hollow rock, what we had you doing with for the squat, you end up doing the same core exercise on the ground, but you should think of the same thing when you're hanging from the bar. Your lower abs need to be activated when you're doing a pull, okay? This translates significantly to when you start kipping or doing butterfly. The people who end up hurting themselves are the ones who look like a limp noodle when they're doing them, as opposed to people who have a really tight core.
Flowy, nice.
Flowy and nice. And they come forward, they kick themselves in the butt, and then they come way forward, and like they're all over the place. Like a proper kip, everything's super tight. Show us a kip. So see how he hardly moves his spine at all. He's not kicking himself in the butt. Now again, strength plays a part of this, but it's also teaching someone from the very beginning what a good position is, right? So that as they advance, you're not trying to reteach them things, okay? The next thing would be, again, stiff thoracic spine, right? If they're really stiff, they'll tend to pull their chest up to the bar, okay? So if they can't get that flattened out position, again, doing more thoracic spine flexibility stuff. Pulling. Initially when we talked about pulling, where we had people pulling just from their biceps, you want to get people learning how to engage their lats. So your lats are a huge honking muscle. Turn facing around. So your lats are a huge muscle that wrap up inside. Yeah, show me your lats. So your lats is this huge, enormous muscle here, okay? It goes up underneath your armpit to the front of your shoulder. It comes down and spreads out across your lower back, okay? So your lats are also a stabilizer for your lower back, but they're the primary pulling muscle for your shoulder, okay? So your lats come up the inside here, up to the front of your arm, so your lats do this movement, okay? If you're not using your lats, most people, they're instantly hike their shoulders up, shuts up, it doesn't shut off your lat, it just shows a lack of using it, right? And all you do is end up pulling from your bicep, okay? People will end up with really sore biceps, so they'll end up rhabdoing themselves because they did the whole lot.
Wonder who that is.
That's been done before, which was an oopsie.
So bad pull-up?
Yeah, show me a bad pull-up. So bad pull-up, arms are way out to the side, and a bad pull-up, you'll typically go straight up vertical. If you're using your lats, you'll actually swing out from the bar a little bit, come out a bit. Yeah, so see how he tips back a bit and then comes to it? Because your lat comes from here and pulls around, you actually need to pull your arm down a little bit to get it activating. If you're pulling just straight up, you're using way too much bicep. So teaching people how to activate their lats is a main thing. And just getting them to squeeze their shoulders back and down will tend to help with that.
So hanging on bars, activating lats.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's pretty much it for pull-ups, I think.
Yeah.
We can go, I mean...
And the way down, as long as you just tighten the core, as long as you tighten the core with the whole movement, then you should
always
be
be tight.
I know, but people forget.
Core should always be tight.
When they actually get up there,
I shouldn't say tight. Core should always be engaged.
Yeah.
Right? Those
As
muscles
long as
should
you're
always have
engaged,
tension in them.
you should never have a problem swinging on the bar.
Yeah.
If you're swinging on the bar, then you're probably not engaged at all.
Yeah. So those are just some simple things that to look for when someone's doing a pull-up. And again, you can just watch them initiate a pull-up. Depending on what their shoulders do, you can pick up pretty quickly. Okay, they're low, usually lower traps that are weak, thoracic spine is stiff, and they're tight in the front of their shoulder. Those are sort of the primary issues that most people have when learning to do a pull-up.
So would you use bands for pull-ups?
Yes. So honestly, I'd stick a lot of people right into ring rows.
Yeah, that's what you hear a lot.
Because ring rows train shoulder blades down and back, providing you're giving them the appropriate cues.
Yes. But with these, I like those come out for like workouts, but for like skill sessions, for strength.
Skills I use a band for sure.
Use a band for
Sure.
no, since
Or if someone's doing, if it's a workout where it's low rep pull-ups,
Yep.
sure, I'll let them use a band. The main thing with bands is making sure that people aren't getting sloppy, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times people use a band and they instantly default into the...
So using a band can teach them that position. Right?
Yeah. Well, so that they can actually pull themselves throughout that range of motion, because the part that's lacking with a ring row is that your hands aren't over your head, your hands are in front of you. It's great for building strength in both your lats and in your lower trap muscles. Yeah, I just started doing your tempo exercise.
Did you?
I did it in a workout.
It's awesome.
3 up, hold, 3 down.
These guys do a lot of them here.
They're great, but they build this. What
Not
they
the
do
camera if you love it. Not the camera if you love it. No, she doesn't love it.
not
She's the camera doesn't love it.
But ring rows are great if it's going to be high rep, because people won't break down. They can maintain good position.
Okay, band back and forth. Yeah.
Sure. Or start with a band, and then once you start seeing bad position, instantly tell them to go to the rings.
Cool.
Right?
Alright.
Negatives are something you can do as well as far as a neurological primer, because you're activating the muscles, right? You're trying to activate the right sequence, but again, it's focusing on making sure your shoulder blades are down and back.
Yeah.
If you're doing a negative, but you're holding a bad position, then there's really no point in doing them.
Most people can't do negatives because they're coming down
Biceps.
the wrong biceps.
All biceps.
So they get up here and they jump up and then they come down and they can't even support themselves. So if you
Let's show me
get
one. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so that wraps it up.
Beauty. There's pull-ups. Simple. That one's a lot easier.
Yeah, pull-ups. A lot of the corrections for the pull-ups, like thoracic, tight thoracic spine, core activation, you'll find in the squat video. So refer to that, and see you later.
Yeah.
Peace out.